Hi guys, it's me, and this is Jean-Michel Basquiat. He lived from December 22nd, 1960 to August 12th, 1988. Today we will review standards 1 and 8, make art with texture and interpret symbols in art. Come along with me, and the butterflies and bees, we can wander through the forest and do so as we please. Okay, first step today, we're going to paint the background black with watered down tempera. Once it's dry, we will create texture using oil pastel. Next, we'll use white paint to make little swatches of texture here and there. That's Jean-Michel Basquiat. That's some of his work. I think he liked dogs. What do you think this one's about? Next, I'll have you guys look for similarities in Basquiat's paintings. Similarities are things that are alike. These next 5 paintings all have a similar symbol in them. Can you figure out what it is? When you find the similarity, give a thumbs up. Did you see it? For Basquiat, crowns represent many things such as power or strength, and he often gave crowns to others in his artwork as a sign of respect. Time to get the paint out again. We'll be adding red, yellow, green, and light blue wherever we like on our paper. An outline of a crown. You make a crown by making a W, and then 2 vertical lines, and then a horizontal line. Let's make a paper fan to help you dry your paint. Hey, you've been watching video for a while, so let's take a break here and then come back for part 2. While we're waiting, let's listen to a story by Javicia Steptoe called Radiant Child about Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Hey everyone, this is Jean-Michel Steptoe. I am the author and illustrator of the Caldecott Award-winning book, Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. So right now, I'm going to read it to you. I hope you enjoy. Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat by Javicia Steptoe. Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump double dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells as he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face, amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean's mind as he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful. His art comes from his mother, Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs, sews, cooks, and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is in the street games of little children. It is in our style and the words we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art, reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each artwork. This is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. Back at home, he creates art on the floor, and his father, Gerard, plays jazz records. Mama Matilda cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor. The energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he is scared and confused. Matilda gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but sits by the window singing only to birds. Jean-Michel is confused and filled with the terrible blues when his mother can no longer live at home. He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look, a twinkle in his eye, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn, New York City, for the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passers-by. Under his art, he signs the name S.A.M.O. copyright instead of Jean-Michel. Everybody wants to know, who is Samo? Samo moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color, composition, and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His artwork is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd, but when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone. With the radio and TV on full blast, now an expensive suit splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creates from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he is king. So he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. A grown man now with the art world in his hand, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's. She is a queen on a throne, and he is now a famous artist. Dear child, I hope you enjoy the reading.
When your paint is dry, use oil pastels to add a crown and maybe something you care about too.